Well, Margaret Mead was, one of the most worldly people. She'd studied cultures everywhere. But she told me that you can actually compare the subculture of the person you're writing about with the core culture. At that time we had a core culture. It was basically a WASP core culture, which has changed now. It's very much more fragmented and diluted. But at that time, that gave me a way of understanding how to, for instance, write about Jesse Jackson, who was the abandoned side of his first family. And he had a brother who lived with his father in a wealthy part of Atlanta and was the charmed boy. So Jesse Jackson had this complex from the very beginning of being the disowned child and trying to make a connection with his brother. So I used that forever. And the other thing she told me was, to be a really good writer, to understand what's going on in your culture, here's what you need to do. Whenever something dramatic happens, an assassination or coronation, today she would have said Ferguson or Paris in the terrorist attack, drop everything, take a bus or a plane, whatever you need, get to the edge, look down into the abyss, and you will see a culture turned inside out. We're seeing that right now in the way Americans are reacting to our taking refugees from Syria. You see the raw side of people who are just want to close the doors, and others like the president who want to open them. That's what we're about. That's what we thought America was about, but now it's so split. So these are the ways that you actually find things to write about that are important. And I had Margaret Mead to thank for that. And what was marvelous was, I actually lived near her, and I was taking a master's degree at Columbia, and I chose to study under her. And she found out I lived there, and I wrote for New York Magazine, so I was a channel to get her ideas into print. So she would actually let me ride with her back and forth to Columbia and pump me full of ideas, and many of which I wrote.